This is for all you hard-working men out there that have to go home to a nagging wife. I really feel bad for y'all. Like, how do you do it? You go to work all day. I'm sure that these same women are the ones that are probably blowing your phone up during the day while you're trying to work, and you're not responding fast enough. You're not giving that attention that they need because they're needy. And so you're getting an earful while you're at work. Then you come home and you get through the door and you're getting the yapping.
All right, don't y'all be all mad at me when you see me out dating a 70-year-old man, okay? I gave plenty of guys my age chances, and all they did was fuck it up. So at this point, I'm done. I'm out. I'm doing what I need to do.
I shouldn't even have to say this, but ladies, if a guy you're interested in, or like, I don't know, you guys are talking on a dating app or something, please don't do that. But if you are talking on a dating app, or you're just talking to somebody and they invite you over to their house, God forbid if it's the first date, but even like the second, third, or fourth, or fifth, I would say like the first 5 dates need to be them putting in work. If they're inviting you over to their house to watch a movie, or to like cook dinner at their house or your house, they're broke and not worth your time. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Just don't waste your time, because that is just being cheap, okay? It's not cute. That is broke boy energy.
A lot of these women today, for whatever reason, and I think I know the reason why, is because a lot of these OnlyFans chicks have made a lot of money, is because we've changed the culture to where you got fly out culture and everything is so easily acceptable, aside from the fact that you have a lot of these IG pictures that's leading y'all to believe that people are doing better than they really are. And people are financing a lot of stuff and they blowing a lot of bags. And it's not necessarily translating into the best thing that's for people in the culture. And nobody cares about love anymore. But the fact of the matter is that people spend more time focusing, or women, let me revise that. Women have been spending more focus and time on what you are supposed to be doing for them, instead of whether or not they are valuable enough, or they qualify, or whether or not they even like the person that they're around. And so now you have a lot of these women that are jumping online saying that men are giving broke boy energy if you don't take them out 5 times. And I've seen a lot of women that even ask for money or say that you're supposed to pay for her groceries in order to even be able to get with her. I was always of the impression that you was doing too much. If you decided to buy a drink for a chick that ultimately is just there to get drinks, and she not even buying a drink for herself because she just don't qualify to be in your presence, I say that y'all keep doing what y'all doing. The only reason that they're getting upset is because a lot of them are not getting what they want. And so they get disgusted and they start to have these conversations online like that's supposed to prove something to you. And the only people that's going to fall for that trick is the simps. Simps fall for tricks from tricks. Simps fall from tricks straight up. And so if she like you, there are no rules. If she don't necessarily care, but she want to give you a chance, then she gonna put a barrier to entry, and that's when you got to start spending money. And let me be clear, it's nothing wrong with spending money to enjoy your life. But if you're leading with money, and I said this on After Hours, if you're leading with money in order to get it because you couldn't get it without it, and that's what she makes you qualify for, then that's a bigger problem. That is a much, much bigger problem than anything that these women are saying. Don't listen to them. Listen to yourself and listen to your conscience. Listen to Uncle Anton.
Question for men in New York City. Why is no one making the effort to offer their seat to a woman? I have been appalled lately getting on the subway and seeing a number of elderly women, pregnant women, women with children, women that are obviously struggling to carry a lot of things, and no man offers.
Fellas, something has shifted. More men are stepping back from dating. Not because they suddenly lost interest in women, but because the effort doesn't feel worth it anymore. Guys are tired of putting energy into connections that feel one-sided, where appreciation is rare and expectations run sky high. Women are asking why men seem distant, but many refuse to look at how today's dating culture is pushing men away in the first place. Men aren't withdrawing because they want to be alone. They're withdrawing because they're exhausted. Every conversation feels like a test. Every gesture turns into a bare minimum. Too many women treat attention like a currency to be spent only on the men who entertain them the most, not the men who actually show consistency. When genuine intention is brushed off while superficial excitement is celebrated, men learn quickly that staying detached protects their peace. The funny thing is, women say they want loyalty, respect, and effort, but the loudest examples in dating today reward drama, ego, and entertainment over maturity. Men notice this. They see kindness ignored, seriousness laughed at, and commitment pushed aside for temporary thrills. After watching good men get overlooked for shallow reasons, more guys choose to focus on themselves instead of chasing validation they'll never receive. And here's the part no one wants to admit. Men didn't create these conditions. They adapted to them. It's hard for a man to stay motivated when he constantly feels like he's competing with unrealistic expectations, social media fantasies, or a checklist that shifts every week. Women who treat dating like a competition for attention end up driving away the very men who are ready to show up for them. So if the question is why men seem uninterested, the answer isn't complicated. Men are tired of being taken for granted, tired of being judged before being understood, and tired of feeling like their effort is invisible. Respect is a two-way exchange, and if men keep walking away, it's because too many women have stopped treating relationships as partnerships and started treating them as performances.
Because men want younger women. If a man is 40, there is no way he is looking for a 40-year-old.
Right.
There's no way.
But at 40, do women even want to go with a 40-year-old man? The 40-year-old women want to go with a 50-year-old man, do they not?
I'd say most of my friends who've got divorced and who've kind of had relationships, it's either they've tried very hard to have a relationship and they're all very attractive. They're just older.
Right.
They're just in their 50s, the 40s, whatever. They're just not in their 30s. They've tried to have relationships with men of their age. Kind of hard. Yeah. Can they have sex with their own? Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Easy.
Guys, let's talk about something a lot of people avoid. Why men in their 40s are still getting attention while many women in the same age range feel invisible. It's not some conspiracy. It's a result of years of patterns that men notice, but women rarely want to acknowledge. Many older women approach dating with frustration already built in, and that energy pushes men away before anything even begins. Men aren't walking off because a woman has a few wrinkles. They walk off because they sense emotional weight that never leaves a room. By the time some women reach their 40s, they carry old grudges, long lists of bad experiences, and a mindset that treats every man like another disappointment waiting to happen. Guys in their 40s don't want to dig through years of resentment just to have a peaceful conversation. They want ease, not conflict. They want warmth, not interrogation. Meanwhile, many of these same women label men as immature or creepy for showing interest in someone younger, yet ignore how their own attitude has changed over time. Younger women aren't winning because they're younger. They're winning because they show excitement, appreciation, and openness, qualities that fade when someone becomes hardened by years of disappointment. Men simply move toward women who bring lighter energy, not heavier problems. Men don't panic about a woman's past unless the past dominates the present. If her history is filled with drama, endless ex-partners still causing issues, or children in situations that are already overwhelming, men step back, not out of cruelty, but out of self-preservation. A man in his 40s has worked hard for his peace. He's not about to trade that peace for arguments, control, or being treated like a replacement for someone who hurt her years ago. Men in their 40s often get more attention because they've grown calmer, more focused, and more comfortable with themselves, while many women their age have grown defensive, suspicious, or demanding. Men don't reject older women because they're older. They reject the bitterness, the criticism, and the constant pressure to meet expectations they never agreed to. If connection feels impossible, it's usually because the attitude entering the room is already closed off.
Tell me I'm not the only one who joins a dating site, scrolls and says no to pretty much most people. Then when you do match somebody, you then unmatch them the next day because they say something that makes you cringe or you just can't be arsed. I literally can't stand online dating, but I'm trying my best to get myself out there. As you can see, I'm sat on my bed in my dressing gown. I'm in between doing my work. Yeah, I'm really making an effort. I'd rather do my work. But something's got to give. I just can't be... It's not the same anymore, guys. I'm 38 years old. Back in the day, you could go out, you could meet someone, granted they were a dickhead, but you could still meet somebody. Do you know what I mean? I really don't want to do this online dating, and I fear I may be on my own for a long fucking time, like I already have been for a long fucking time, if I don't sort my shit out. TikTok and social media are not for dating. You know what I mean? The only option really, Wendy, is a dating site. Unless some fucker's going to talk to me in Morrison's, as I always say. But I wouldn't even speak to anyone anyway. I can't fucking see her. Yeah, anyway, I need to find some fucking hobbies because these dating sites are just not for me.
I heard a woman say, "Someone needs to go find me a husband. I've had enough." And the wild part? She said it like the world owes her one. This is exactly the problem. Too many women reach a breaking point, but refuse to look at the habits that kept good men away in the first place. They want a husband delivered like a package, but they never consider why every man who tried to get close eventually walked. Men aren't avoiding commitment because they fear marriage. They're avoiding women who treat marriage like a reward they should receive for surviving life. Some women believe that the moment they're tired of dating drama, a man should magically appear and fix everything. But men don't want to sign up for someone's frustration, someone's impatience, or someone's demand for instant results. Men want partnership, not pressure. Many spent years pushing away men who genuinely cared. They played games, kept options, chased chaos, and now suddenly want stability without offering stability back. They say they're ready, but their mindset is still stuck in old patterns, quick to judge, slow to appreciate, and always expecting men to do the heavy lifting. That attitude alone makes men run the other direction. A husband isn't hiding. Men are everywhere. But men don't commit to someone who treats relationships like a rescue mission. If she's demanding instead of inviting, if she's controlling instead of supportive, if she approaches dating with impatience instead of understanding, men won't invest. Many women reach a point where they want marriage, but they never show the qualities that make a man excited to build a life with them. When a woman hits her limit and says she deserves a husband, it doesn't move men, it pushes them away. Marriage isn't a reward for being fed up. It's something built through effort, warmth, and maturity. Men step up for women who bring peace, not women who treat commitment like an entitlement after years of ignoring their own role in failed connections.
Now, I came across this, and this young lady right here is upset and distraught because when she woke up from her nap, her boyfriend had left. But let me tell you why he left. Before she took said nap, she threatened to call the police and berated him and said that if he was there when she woke up, she would call the police on him. So therefore, he gathered his stuff, his belongings, and he left. She's angry because the man left after she threatened to call the law on him. You gotta be kidding me with this, y'all. You cannot make it up. Now listen, people have toxic love, and I try to stay away from anyone toxic. But for her to be angry at him, and for her to go on a tangent to try to explain why he's such a bad guy when he goes to work to provide for her, comes home and plays the game, and that's all he does, is outrageous. She says that he doesn't kiss her, he doesn't make love to her, and that she was angry about it. So she basically told him, "I'm going to call the police on you if you don't get out." She went to sleep, woke up, he was gone. Now she's upset. If you want to see the whole video, it's in the description.
Picture this. A young woman is online crying because her boyfriend walked out while she was sleeping. She's calling him heartless, dramatic, everything under the sun. But she conveniently left out one tiny detail. She told him the night before that if she woke up and he was still in her house, she would call the police on him. A man hears that, and he's gone before sunrise. What else was he supposed to do? Wait for handcuffs as a surprise. This is what men keep dealing with. Some women throw out threats, thinking a man will stick around and tolerate it. They push boundaries, use intimidation, and expect zero consequences. But men aren't stupid. A guy is not going to stay somewhere he's being treated like a criminal for simply being present. He protected himself, and now she wants sympathy because he didn't volunteer to get arrested for no reason? She's playing victim after creating the whole situation herself. Instead of admitting that her mouth put him in a dangerous position, she's online fishing for attention. This behavior right here is why men pull away. Too many women create chaos, then cry foul when the man removes himself from a mess. You can't threaten someone one night and expect devotion the next morning. That's not love. That's manipulation. Men don't feel safe in situations like that. A woman who casually throws around police threats is showing she's willing to destroy a man's life just to prove a point. Any smart man is leaving immediately. It wasn't disrespect. It was self-defense. He chose peace instead of walking into a trap. And instead of owning her actions, she's painting him as a villain for escaping the danger she created. What she calls nerve is actually him valuing his freedom. If she didn't want him to leave, she should have kept the threats out of the conversation. Men won't stay where they're treated like disposable objects. If she wants loyalty, she has to stop weaponizing the system against the man she claims to care about. Her behavior push him out, not his intentions.
So there was a study that said 45% of women ages 25 to 44 are going to be single by the year 2030. And you already know that a lot of the guys are going to have an absolute heyday with this. Just another reason to hate on women. But before that happens, I want to talk about the reality of that statistic. It actually makes sense because the average age of people getting married for the first time is going up. Life expectancy is going up. The ability to have a child at an older age has grown thanks to science. And just from a mathematical perspective, if every woman between the ages of 25 to 44 got married at the age of 35, that number would be 50%. And this is just yet another tactic to try to scare women into settling for shitty relationships. To me, being single for the rest of my life is actually not something that terrifies me because I am inherently happy with myself. And I'm not willing to jeopardize my peace and my happiness for a simple relationship with a man who does not treat me or love me the way that I love myself. Because men are going to treat women how they want to treat women. Being single is not the worst thing that can ever happen to you.
This woman quoted a study saying nearly half of women ages 25 to 44 will be single by 2030. She presented it like it's some unstoppable force of nature, not the result of choices many women are proudly making. Instead of asking why so many are drifting out of the relationship world, she blames statistics, biology, science, everything except her own attitude toward men and commitment. She brought up rising marriage ages, longer lifespans, and medical advancements as if those factors erase personal responsibility. But none of that explains why so many women push away good men, sabotage healthy relationships, and convince themselves they don't need to grow. Men notice how often modern dating turns into a contest, not a partnership. And when the energy is cold, dismissive, or defensive, men step back. That's not math, that's behavior. Then she added that being single forever doesn't scare her because she's inherently happy. But the way she said it sounded more like someone trying to protect a bruised ego than someone genuinely content. Instead of admitting that her standards, attitude, or mindset might be contributing to her situation, she turned it into a motivational speech aimed at avoiding accountability. Men see right through that. It's not empowerment if it's rooted in denial. A lot of women use statistics like these as a shield. They convince themselves that staying single is a noble choice, not the outcome of years of pushing away responsibility in relationships. Meanwhile, men are gaining clarity. They want peace, cooperation, and sincerity, traits many women abandon while chasing independence with no balance. And now they're shocked that men won't fight their way into situations filled with resistance and blame. If nearly half of women remain single, it's not because the universe conspired against them. It's because many refuse to examine how their behavior shaped their romantic lives. If a woman treats accountability like an insult and sees every relationship as a burden, she'll naturally end up alone. Not because she's destined to, but because she never took a hard look at the role she played in her own outcomes.
The other day I saw this video and I thought I saved it because I honestly wanted to respond to it and I wanted to stitch it. I saw this lady saying how she is in her 40s and women in their 40s feel invisible because women in their 40s apparently their hairs are not the same, lashes are not the same, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna turn 40. I gotta tell you, I look nothing like I did in my 20s. I do not feel invisible. Why? Because validation, I don't need outside validation. Confidence comes from within. Confidence doesn't come from everybody else. You know how many girls that are so beautiful and pretty feel so insecure? What do you think that is? You feel invisible because to you, you need validation from the outside. Why do you want to look like you did in your 20s? You're not in your 20s. We want to look the best we can at our age. You're aging. Yes, that's normal. That's part of life. You'd rather be dead? I'm a makeup artist. I see this every day. There's so many women that have the potential. They are lazy. Getting a haircut, drinking water. I've said this, getting your nails done, looking presentable. And the moment I don't feel good about myself, I know why. If I've gained weight, if my hair's all dried up, if I'm looking crusty dusty, you feel off, you know, then fix it. Don't be out here and like saying, oh, women in the 40s feel invisible. No. How many women I have stopped and did a double take? Because there's one thing older women have over younger girls, and it's confidence. When you don't give a fuck about what other people think and you just know what you bring to the table, that's a confidence that youth doesn't have. I did not have that in my 20s. I was like so insecure. Was I the skinniest bitch in the room? Yeah, like zero cellulite. Like I had it all, hair down to here. But you're like scared because you don't know what's going on.
She was talking about how women over 40 feel invisible in the dating world. Like suddenly men are overlooking them or not giving them the attention they used to get. But the part she didn't mention is why that shift happens. It's not society turning on them. It's the result of years spent believing youth lasts forever and that men will always line up no matter how they behave. Choices catch up. Attitudes catch up. Time catches up. For years, many women were told they didn't need to prioritize relationships, respect, or partnership. They were told to focus on themselves, that men would always be waiting in the end. Now they reach 40 and suddenly realize the energy they put into the world wasn't exactly relationship friendly. You can't spend decades dismissing men, competing with men, and belittling men, then expect those same men to see you as a prize later on. Life doesn't work like that. Men don't ignore women over 40 because something is wrong with them. Men pull away because they remember how these same women acted when they were younger, demanding entitled, impossible pleas, and convinced they could replace any man at any moment. Now that dating options have changed, they want sympathy instead of accountability. The invisibility they feel isn't discrimination. It's the echo of their own behavior. Meanwhile, the younger women they used to look down on are making different choices. They value peace, cooperation, and partnership. They understand men aren't the enemy. And men naturally gravitate toward women who actually want connection instead of competition. That's not ageism. That's consequences. If you plant bitterness, you won't harvest admiration later. Women over 40 aren't invisible. They're simply facing the reality they avoided for years. You can't treat men poorly for half your life and expect them to chase you in the second half. Respect goes both ways, and the dating market always reflects the truth people refuse to admit.
So I am officially 39 and single with no kids. This lighting, where I am is making me look so dark. I'm not actually this dark, but I feel really good in the sense of like, I have just decided to surrender. I went on a run yesterday and I was just thinking about God, and I was like, God knows the desires of my heart. And I feel like for the last few years, I've been really intentional about going on dates and meeting new people and feeling like if I'm not doing these things, then XYZ is not come. And I do think that there is like some truth to that. Like, you do need to put yourself out there and you do need to be willing, but it started to become from a place of like performance, in the sense of like, I have to be doing these things or I will not get what I want. And it started to just feel inauthentic to me. And I'm still going to put myself out there, but I just don't want to stress about any of this anymore. I just don't. It's not worth my time. And there's been things in life, whether it's a relationship or money issues or just living situations. And I think we've all been through those situations where we think, oh my God, this is the worst. I'm so stressed, and you're losing sleep about it. And then a few years down the road, you're like, why was I ever stressed about that? Everything works out in its time. And I just have to live from that perspective of God knows the desires of my heart. At the end of the day, I'm a good person. I'm bettering myself. I'm going back to school and I'm doing these things to try to improve my life. And what happens is going to happen, but I can't live my life feeling stressed that I'm not going to hit these particular landmarks. And it feels like a good place to be for me right now.
She announced she's 39, single, childless, and she said she's surrendering. And the wild part is she expects sympathy for a situation she spent decades creating. This isn't tragedy. This is the bill finally arriving. These are the same women who had an endless lineup of men in their 20s and early 30s, men ready to commit, men offering stability. But they pushed every one of them away because they thought the options would never slow down. She wasn't unlucky. She wasn't overlooked. She had opportunities, real ones, but she treated men like disposable extras while waiting for some imaginary perfect man who never existed. Now she's almost 40. Suddenly realizing the attention she once took for granted is dried up, and instead of reflecting, she runs to the internet looking for comfort. That's not surrender. That's regret wearing makeup. Women like her spent years treating dating like a game, talking about keeping their standards high while offering nothing meaningful in return. And now that the tables have turned, they want the world to feel bad because the same energy they put out circled back. Men aren't rejecting her out of cruelty. They're simply choosing women who haven't spent their prime years mocking the idea of commitment. This isn't about age, it's about attitude. Women who respected relationships, who value partnership, who didn't waste time playing power games aren't struggling the way she is. The struggle hits the ones who believe men would always be available on demand. Reality doesn't bend to ego. The dating market doesn't reward entitlement. And the wall doesn't care about excuses. Now she wants the world to gather around and feel emotional for her journey. But you cannot neglect every good man that came your way, sabotage your own future, and then ask strangers for empathy. She didn't meet the wall. She ran into it full speed while ignoring every warning sign. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate every one of you for supporting the channel and joining these real conversations. More content coming soon. Stay sharp and stay subscribed.